It's like, what more do we kind of have to do to really show, people that we exist and that we're here and that we're here to help them and put their best interests first. And
Welcome to yet another episode of Talkin Shop. I'm still posted up at Culture Espresso, but this time I got my buddy Samuel Deane with me. And what always happens with Talkin Shops is we're just having a good conversation, catching up, and something good always comes out. And Samuel, you mentioned a tweet that you said, and we were, to give the story, Matthew Ricks was still here. We were talking about just financial planning and advice, is what we always talk about. And you mentioned this tweet. So share with everybody the tweet and then kind of what you thought about that.
Yeah, sure. So so the other day, actually, I came across a tweet on my feed, and it was essentially a black woman who seemed to be interested in starting a family, but was concerned, that the economic resources, the schools, the neighborhoods, just the things that are given and provided to people of color, particularly black people, it's just not America's just not an optimal place for you to start a family or for you to raise kids, at least for us. And so she was actually considering relocating and moving to another country. And what struck me really was, her saying that, I really wish American financial advisors would, quit talking about, how much money we can save by making our own lattes and making coffee at home, and start talking more about, the economic factors that contributes to financial management and financial success. She wants us to talk about, what it's like being self-employed, education planning, what state would be best to live in if you're considering sending your kids to a state, like a state college, maybe, moving maybe 2 or 3 years to a state prior to, so you can get the residency,
in-state,
and then getting the in-state tuition. If you're self-employed, figuring out how do I go about getting health insurance? And I just felt compelled to answer, and I'm like, hey, this advice literally exists. Mm-hmm. And I tried to show her that, the mainstream industry, still focuses on assets, but there are plenty of advisors who will work with you to accomplish your financial life goals. A lot of advisors, even that we know, kind of focus on financial life management. And I was just trying to send her a few resources to help her find that person that she's looking for. And it came up in conversation today. It's what more do we kind of have to do to really show, people that we exist and that we're here and that we're here to help them and put their best interests first? And besides content, but I think where it kind of stems from is that the industry as a whole kind of, it's skewed towards the older generations, and older generations don't necessarily use social media. I think if you're a young advisor kind of coming up in the business, you want to focus on the work and not be distracted by social media, but at the same time, we also have to use it to put our message out there, right? To tell our stories and to let these people know that we exist. So it's a complicated balance, at least for me. I know, Desarte is doing his social media fast, and you were doing the same, and I truly do find benefit in that, but at the same time, I have a responsibility to be visible, and this is a prime example of why.
Right. Well, and you're doing a good job. So you are a young advisor with your own firm. You're doing a good job of finding that balance.
Yeah.
But I wanted to go back and how do we as advisors fix this and let people know? Well, first off, this video is one way. So sharing this video, letting people know that, hey, there are advisors out there not just focused on investments that are doing life planning.
Yeah.
I think the other way is encouraging more advisors that are doing that to be more vocal. So again, it is going to be a little bit of the social media story, which is one of the reasons I love it so much. But it's also just having those conversations within your community. What is it that you do? Don't say you're a financial advisor and leave it at that. Explain to people.
Your clients,
let people know what being a financial advisor to you means. And if you are the person that is helping people align their values with their dollars, tell them that. Say it's not just the American dream of retirement in college. It's the sabbatical that you want to take. It's the funding the private school because you live in New York City. That's really what financial planning is becoming. And I think one good thing is the public is looking for it, which is going to increase the demand for advisors that are doing it. And once more advisors see that's what clients want, they're going to be forced to start doing it. The other thing I think is highlighting those advisors on podcasts and things of that sort. The final thing is, we talked about this. It wasn't in the meeting of the minds. It was the meeting of the minds of Wellstat. We talked about a career path. I think if we start educating within college the future financial advisors that financial planning is more about the life planning, and get those people right out the gate doing that, then there'll be more advisors doing it. So, yes, you are right. There are advisors out there that are helping exactly what this woman's looking for. We need to let her know that, and then to your point, give her resources. So, what were some of the resources that you said? Were they specific advisors? Was it XY Planning Network?
So what I did was I shared the CFP board with her, because I said, if you're looking for an advisor, this is a credential you should look for, because it goes way beyond investment management. This is actually, we know what the CFP board is, but I just feel as though it's comprehensive. It's not perfect, but I think it's the best standard that's out there. I'm biased because I'm obviously a CFP candidate. I also sent her XY Planning Network. If she was looking for actual advisors who may be a great fit, who do financial life planning, I sent her resources from XY Planning Network, NAPFA, Fee Only Network, and I believe FPA, Financial Planning Association.
So in the blog post on All About Your Benjamins, I'm going to have links to all those. I'll make sure I get them all, so that if you are a individual looking for an advisor, we'll give you some resources. But also, reach out to Samuel on Twitter. When I get back, reach out to me. We have a network of advisors that we know that are doing these things, that we can help people connect. So interestingly enough, we were talking about it, that a lot of us younger advisors, and there's older advisors as well, but we don't view other advisors as competition.
Right.
So I will happily refer somebody to Samuel if I think he's a good fit, or to another advisor. So if you're on social media and you're following some of us, lean on us and say, hey, here's my situation. I can't find somebody who can help me. Let us know, because we will get you in the right arms, because we want you to be taken care of and get good financial planning. Because if you get good financial planning, you get a good experience, then you're going to talk good about financial advisors. Our profession gets elevated, and we get elevated with that. So we're all in this together. So any closing thoughts on this whole life planning and the fact that advisors are out there, or you hit it all?
I think I hit it all, but to close and say, I just want to say that, as a Black financial advisor, for other Black financial advisors that are out there, it's super. I know me personally, I sometimes get kind of shy in being out there and putting my story out there, but this was an example of I guess the power of being visible and the power of being heard, and letting people know what you do, and not kind of being so stuck on titles like I'm in wealth management or I'm a financial advisor. Like, what do you actually do for your clients? Don't be afraid to let people know, and don't be afraid to put your story out there. I think that's kind of one of my biggest takeaways that I learned from this. After seeing her tweet, I'm like, this is the exact same reason I got into this profession. It's just make it more visible and to be there. So I'd say if you were a financial advisor, particularly one of color, if you're interested in being one, when you do kind of get out there and get some skin in the game, don't be afraid to put your story out there, and just really be proactive in letting people know what you do, and being active in your community so people can actually see what you do.
And be proud of what you're doing, because you're making a big impact. So be sure to follow Samuel. You're going to hear a lot more from him. I promise you that. I'm going to replay this video in probably 2 years, when you're just blowing up, and they can say, I told you so, I told you so. So being that I'm telling everybody to follow you, especially advisors of color, but I also think the white guys out there should follow you as well, because we can all learn from each other. So everybody should go follow Samuel. Where can they follow you?
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Samuel S. Deane. And my LinkedIn profiles also has the same URL, Samuel S. Deane, all across the board.
There'll be links to that.
And our website is deanefinancial.com.
All right, I will link to that as well. So I appreciate you taking time to come meet with me. 45-minute trip out of your way. Very sweet of you. I feel very special. But I'm going to go get ready. I got a big day ahead of me. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode.